2023 NFL Draft Prospect Profile by Birds vs. Boys. Thank you for joining us. Today we are talking Bijan Robinson, the running back from Texas. Aiden, some experts have him as 1 or 2 in terms of talent in this entire draft. However, he is a running back, and in this day and age in the NFL, the running back position has been devalued. Many fans, many teams do not like to take running backs in the first round of the draft. Therefore, a top 2 talent may go anywhere from 10 to the second round. We don't know. So, what do we like? What do we love? What don't we like about Bijan Robinson? Aiden.
Yeah, so this will be a fun one to do because he kind of checks all the boxes in terms of what a running back should be, especially in this day and age. Like you said, he could go in the top 10, but that's kind of been doom and gloom for a lot of teams who have spent that way. Our teams, I'm an Eagles fan. Kevin is a Cowboys fan. If you're here for draft talk, we talk about them as well. But we both just moved on from big money running backs for cheaper options because the production value between that cheaper option and the more expensive option isn't too much. So that's why Bijan is such an interesting prospect, because we're about to get into his tape. Everything looks great. And then you say to yourself, but could I get somebody in the 3rd round or the 4th round who could do similar enough to him to make it worthwhile to just use a 3rd round pick? So we'll get into it here. I don't know if you want to start or I'll start, but I kind of see the same thing in every game. I watched a lot of Texas for some reason. I don't know why, but a lot of the tape for me really sticks out in terms of strength for him.
Yep. And I'll just give the numbers too from the combine. He's 5'11", 215 pounds, ran a 4.46 40 37-inch vertical jump and a 10.4 broad jump. I mean, the things that he does, Aiden, is everything with athleticism, right? He's explosive, he's elusive, he's fast. He has that prototype build to a running back that you want in this day and age, right? Because not only can he run between the tackles, not only is he agile, but he's also going to help you in the passing game, whether that be his blocking ability or his catch and run ability. So I think the type of running back that he is can help any team in the NFL, right? The way that offenses run this day and age and the way that kind of the pass game and the run game evolve. And teams are passing it more than running it, unless you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're just going to run the ball all season. But that's another reason why he may be valuable to the Cowboys. But you're right, his tape jumps off the screen. I mean, you can see it here if you're watching on YouTube. He has that one cut ability, and it doesn't always matter. Some running backs that you're going to get in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, they need a top 2, top 3 type offensive line like the Philadelphia Eagles have. But this guy in Bijan, I think he can run behind a mediocre line and still make defenses look silly.
Yeah, so I guess that's my biggest thing with him. We've gotten to the Alabama game. That's our most important game of the season because you and I talk about it all the time. Draft the best players off the best teams. Alabama was a great team. What's your tape look like against the best players in college? Yep. So the biggest thing with Bijan, and that actually is the play before Quinn Ewers got hurt this year, which is, it's like so funny to look back. That first game that we were watching, and I know it's Louisiana Monroe, but you just saw a lot of runs where multiple missed tackles. You think you have him after 4 yards. He turns it into 14 yards. Even on this touchdown run right here, they're at his ankles. They're not able to do it. Even on this run like this, runs through a guy, takes 3 people to tackle him. He's that guy. Like everybody who played pee-wee football and youth football, your coaches are like, keep those legs moving as you're running. Keep those legs moving. Bijan Robinson is that guy. And he is just like, the legs never stop moving. The legs are constantly chopping. And because he does that, he stays up, he stays on his feet, he breaks tackles. And all of a sudden, like you see right there, that should be a 1-yard gain. He turns it into 7. Yep. This is another perfect example. Jump cut, bounces off a guy. And then like you talked about, he does it all. Dynamic, sustainable. They're using him out of the backfield as a pass catcher, not just a runner. So it's a lot of fun to watch him because he just never stops.
Yeah, I think his skill set is perfect for the NFL, right? I think for me watching prospects, I believe he's the best running back candidate prospect in the last 10 years. Maybe Saquon He's probably right on that tier coming out of college.
So he gets that Saquon comp, and I definitely get it because I think he's the most valuable running back prospect since Saquon. I think Saquon had the best explosiveness of any running back prospect we've seen since when? Like Reggie Bush was at UFC,
Yep.
where it's just like, oh my goodness, that kid just took that 75 yards, and I blinked my eyes once. Bijan's a little bit more, I feel like, is durable the right word? Maybe
Yeah.
not because Saquon
Complete.
is so strong, but it just feels like he's like it's not always the home run. I feel like even at Penn State, sometimes Saquon could go -2, -1, 80,
Yep.
in
Yep.
terms of carries. But Bijan, I feel like everything's positive, everything's yards forward, everything's 4 to 5 yards to carry. And like this another perfect example right there. He got hit at the line of scrimmage. It was a 7 yard gain.
Yep.
That play right there. He got hit at the line of scrimmage. It was a 4 yard gain. And it's like that on every single run, which is really impressive from a guy like that.
And he can do almost anything, right? He can be your bell cow if you need him to be your bell cow.
Mhm.
Or in this day and age in the NFL, most teams have a dual running back threat. He would be perfect as a 1-2 punch, whether it be with a Kenny Gainwell in Philadelphia and Boston Scott, or whether it be with Tony Pollard in Dallas. I think he would fit perfectly in that, 75 to 25 split range between two running backs, maybe 60-40, because he's going to stay fresh. He's going to be able to get you those grind yards that maybe, you know, Pollard and Gainwell aren't going to get you. And he can still hit the home run and catch the ball out of the backfield. That's why I think he is so intriguing in this draft. But intrigue be damned, what do teams and what do fans, what are they going to do with him, Aiden? Where is he going to go?
It's the craziest thing because, like we talked about, talent wise, maybe Will Anderson, Jalen Carter might be the only two guys ranked higher than him in the entire
Bryce
draft.
Young, I think I saw also
Yeah,
talented quarterback.
but Bijan is probably top five in terms of talent.
Yes.
He's not going to go top five. Would he go top 10? So I'm an Eagles. This is also a hilarious run, by the way. He just bounces off of people. It's just so funny to watch because he's never down on the first tackle. He just made two guys tackle each other. That catch right there, let's go. That's one. That's two. That's three. And then on the fourth, that's when they get him to the ground. How many runs does he have like that this year where it's on the fourth attempt at getting to him that it finally happens? There he hits the home run right there. So everything's on display. That's why he has this first round grade. If you're an Eagles fan, I just don't see it at 10. If he's there at 30, I think they trade back at 30 anyways. But it's just, I don't want to say it. It's the most interesting thing because it's not risky. He's a surefire running back talent. The position is risky, right? Just if you leave a corner or an edge rusher or an offensive line talent on the table for a running back, it always comes back to bite teams. History is doomed to repeat itself. So, as an Eagles fan, if I'm sitting there at 10, I'm probably saying I'm passing. But it's so funny because you're passing on a top 10 talent. It's just the day and age of running backs.
And then that brings you to my team, the Dallas Cowboys, who are sitting there at 26. And usually when you're picking, mid to late 20s, the prospects who you're going to be drafting at that position really don't have a first round grade, right? They're
Yep.
they're more of the early second round guys, whether it be one of the wide receivers who's sitting there. And this is not a top heavy wide receiver class or deep like it's been in the past 4 years. This wide receiver class has a lot of short, shifty type guys. Not what the Dallas Cowboys take. Could they go tight end? Possibly. Could they go guard, tackle? They could go almost anywhere. But if a guy like Bijan is sitting there at 26, right? And he is like we just said, surefire starter day one, top 5 talent. And you have a chance to get him in a spot where otherwise, you're getting a second round pick. You can then prolong Tony Pollard. You're also going to prolong Bijan because he's not going to have to be quote unquote your number one every down back as a rookie because you will have Tony Pollard on the franchise tag, and then you move away from Pollard after that, and Bijan becomes the number one guy. And let's face it, what do we know about Jerry Jones? Right? He likes to sell jerseys. He's from Texas. If you put him in the Dallas Cowboys, he will be the number one selling rookie jersey immediately.
Yep.
And it's the splash move. But they're just walking away from the Ezekiel Elliott contract, right? However, this is at 26, not at 4, and you don't have to sign him to a second contract. Now, he will be a rookie with a 5th-year option. It's tasty.
It's tasty, but it's like right there to me is the problem with running backs where you're like, best case scenario, you don't sign him to a second contract.
Yes.
Like that's such a hard, like I love watching this tape. He has the most fun tape that we're gonna do outside maybe like Jackson Smith and Jigba. There's some games where Joey Porter is just fun to watch because they're targeting him and he just deflects everything. But it's just so hard for me to sign up for a guy who's like best case scenario, it's 5 years.
Yep.
That's rough, you know?
Yep. It is. It is. I mean, you want your first round picks to be there for a decade, obviously. But is that realistic at 26? To think that. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I can see that, right? You know, like it's an easier sell the later you get into the first round with a running back.
Now, would I jump up? Like if he's sitting there at 20, would I get on the phone to move up for him?
No.
The actual answer is it depends on who else is on the board, right? If all 3 of the tight ends are sitting there and you're 5 picks away, probably not. If 2 of your top offensive linemen are still sitting there, probably not. If your number 1 or number 2 wide receiver are still sitting there, or an edge rusher or a defensive tackle, probably not. But if your board somehow has gotten wiped out, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say, if the board lines up, that's the thing, right? Like nobody's going to be disappointed at 26 or 30 if you end up with this guy.
Yes.
It's the funniest thing. It's the best social experiment to do in the draft. Is an all-star premier running back talent who breaks tackles like this and will be a star from day one. And it's
But I agree with you at 10, even though he is a top 5, it's tough to take him at 10.
it's very tough. So we'll see. But that's the Bijan tape. I think we love his balance. We love his motor, the sustainability, durability, everything that you like in a running back. You can play him 3 downs, even though that's not the way the NFL is played anymore. And you are going to have some highlight runs where he breaks 4 different tackles in going for a first down. So love his tape. Love watching him. He'll be a social experiment come draft night.
Can't wait to see him in the NFL. We'll see if he has a bird on his helmet, a star on his helmet, or who knows, he's going to end up somewhere like Arizona. Who knows? But it's going to be fun watching that play out in the first round of the NFL draft on Thursday night, coming up in 3 weeks. And make sure you check out all of our draft coverage. We are doing everything from mock drafts to player breakdowns like the one you're watching now. Click back from this video, watch all our other player highlights, and then hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter, Birds vs. Boys Pod. Anywhere podcasts are found, that's where you can find our full episodes. Thank you for watching and enjoy the draft.